I'd be curious to know, Chris, about your compositional approach once you got this text from Donna to work with. Were you imagining the real people, two of whom you personally know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously when somebody says, we want your first, you know, full-scale opera to take place in Vietnam and World Trade Center, you get a little concerned about how to handle that kind of task. And the thing that I kept thinking about was you three. I mean, it was keeping it at that level of reality. And I think one of the things that's really amazing about this story is that I think we all, at some point or another, have related directly to certain themes in here. I mean, my direct in, I mean, we were all, you know, 50 blocks away from the World Trade Center when this happened, was trying to figure out what do you, I mean, I was completely numb. I had no way of kind of dealing with this. And the question that's posed in the opera is, how do we carry this forward? What happens? I mean, when there's too much to carry, too much weight to carry and to kind of deal with. And, you know, Rick, early on, when he's in Rhodesia with Dan, picks up an African ritual, which is that, you know, when the enemy is killed, in this case it was a lion who was threatening the villagers, he takes the blood and they smear it on his body to carry forward the strength and the power and the memory of that thing that you don't forget. You carry it forward. You carry the strength forward. And that becomes a kind of recurring theme and ultimately how things are dealt with at the World Trade Center. Throughout all of this, it was really character-based in the strongest sense. All three of these characters have profoundly strong characters and evolutionary tracks throughout the opera. And my other relationship was between Dan and Rick. I grew up with my best friend and I recognize a lot of that relationship. You know, one of the things with these two very heavy frames and kind of structural pillars in the opera is that you have to do it with a light touch and know when to be light about it and when to really, you know, show the emotional intensity that's there. And remembrances of my best friend growing up and the things we do was always with a light touch, even heavier things. There was a lot of joking around. There was a lot of playfulness and a lot. So throughout the flow of the opera, it has this Rossini-esque quality, I think, amongst some things which are quite heavy and are dealt with that way too. But focusing on the characters and keeping it at that level of relationship, remembering specific things about Susan and Rick and from our early meetings, and also from my personal experience, and as David was saying so eloquently last night, another theme is finding a love late in life. You know, not the 20-year-old relationships that we're used to seeing, but finding love at 58, you know, and what that means, how that redefines things, and kind of bringing some fresh perspective to it that way. So keeping it character focused was very much on my mind the whole way.
What's been your reaction to the workshopping so far? Has it sounded the way it did in your head?
Yeah, it has. You know, the singers are doing amazingly well. I mean, it's a lot to learn in 5 days, essentially, and they've really just committed themselves to it entirely. And it's a lot of text. I mean, we're going to go back and do obviously another set of edits. The piece is finished, so we're now in the very fortunate position of having our editor hats on for the next few months and being able to see how we can make it tighter and so forth. But I've been really pleased.